Peace, peace, family, peace, and black power. Now, today I'm here to tell you more than just about the black power. Today I'm here to tell you about the red power, the orange power, the yellow power, the green power, the blue power, and the purple power. The title is, and this is a follow up from Larry Reid's live the other day, and it was called Astrology and Christianity. Now, I heard the gentleman Shema, which means star. Shema means star. I heard him talk, and he's an L as well. So I think he's a Moorish Muslim brother. Because normally when L is a title for Moorish Muslim brother. So, if anyone knows, Muslims, like, their doctrine is primarily based, just like our religion, is primarily based on astrology. This is one of the reasons why they have the crescent star, the star and the crescent moon, which means a symbol of growth and expansion on their, they wear that on their fez. All right. But today I'm going to start off because I don't want you to think that most of this is coming from me. I want to use some reputable sources. I'm also going to go through some scriptures and show you where astrology is very well. To be honest with you, the Bible is a book of astrology. Now, the term that they generally use when referencing the Bible is astrotheology. And that's like theology plus astro. And what astrotheology is, give me just one moment. Astrotheology is the combination of astrology, astronomy, and theology. So it's astrotheology is the combination of astrology, astronomy, and theology. Okay, I'm going to start off and I'm going to read this article. Give me just a moment to pull it up. And I'm going to break it down. Then I'm going to give you some scriptures of reference to show you. You're going to come out of this live stream knowing that it's nothing wrong. Astrology is really, as most say, it's like the study of God. Okay, and I'm also going to share the screen. Let me make sure I'm on the right article. Give me just a second here. Okay, I'm going to read only a paragraph or two of this one. And that's just to show you some references. And then I'm going to go to the other one, okay? So here we go. And I appreciate everyone who's with me today. I see I have 2 comments. Give me a moment. I have had trouble getting to my chat from the other computer. Shout out to Sunshine in the building. Hey, my friend Shining Star. Peace, family. All right. So the title of this article here, and give me a moment because I need to be able to see. I'm going to start reading it, but let me, because I have to be able to see the chat and I have to be able to see the screen because I need to know if it's coming up or not. And for some odd reason, YouTube doesn't want to act right with me today. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do it without it. I'm going to have to do it on my own. All right. So this article is, it's by BeliefNet. And it says, as an astrologer looks at the star of Bethlehem. According to the book of Matthew, the birth of Jesus was marked by a particular celestial event, which we call the Star of Bethlehem. The Bible itself doesn't give us much detail, but it was the star that enabled the 3 wise men, or magi, to locate the Christ child. One of the best known images associated with Christmas is that of the Star of Bethlehem. That's that big bright star. Regardless of how much you may believe in Jesus, most of those who have studied the matter agree that he was a real person born somewhere between 10 BC and 1 AD. Sorry, Back to the Future fans, December 25th AD. Just doesn't work. Although most of our records of what was going on that far back in time are gone, those records that do exist, plus celestial mechanics, enable us to look back in time to see what the sky was doing at that time. Okay, and that's not the article, but I'm glad I read the little part. So let me get on up out of there, and let me go to here. All right, not that one, not yet. Not that one yet. Here we go. All right, astrology in the Bible. There shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Jesus Christ. And that's Luke 21. Luke 21, 25 says, there shall be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, now let me break down a little something before we go there. In order to get an accurate, most of the reason why in the Western world, a lot of people do not understand the Bible as it is to be taken, is because it has been translated down like 7 different languages. So in order to get an accurate account of what the Bible is actually saying, you would have to pretty much go refer back to the Hebrew language. Okay, now that's why a lot of even like a lot of people would say that the Bible, like most of the people in the Western world do not understand the Bible in its terms or text as it should be. Okay. Now, astrology is the holy science that combines astrology, astronomy, and theology. This holy science, and when we say holy, like we're looking at, like a lot of times we look at holy as HOLY, but actually holy is WHOLY, like whole and holy, 360 degrees. Okay. But this holy science shows that, in fact, all myths, all stories, the Bible, and all other holy scriptures, and even nursery rhymes are based on the movement and interaction of the seven lights we see in the sky. These seven lights we know as the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They are the lights our eyes can see wandering in front of the fixed background of the stars. These are the main characters that create pattern in the sky, which have an effect on our lives here on Earth, or Terra. Earth is also known as Terra, and it's like as above, so below. That's like from Kemetic science. That's from all spiritualities believe as above, so below, whether it be African, whether it be American, Mayan. All spiritualities believe that as above, so below. Even even the Bible, as above, so below. So as in the heavens, so be it on the earth. And that's just as simple that. And also the seven stars that we're referring to, let me show you the picture of those so that you would know exactly what we're talking about. It's called Pleiades. Now I'm about to bounce back. Let me see something here, because I don't know if y'all can see. So give me just a moment. I'm about to bounce back to you, or I'm about to go in from here, because I got to be able to, see if everything's coming up on the screen. So let me turn my volume down. Computer don't want to act right. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm about to All right. Hey, Miss Lady Scoop in the building. Miss Mickey Ficky in the building. All right, there we go. Okay, this is called Pleiades, and this is also called the seven stars. This is also called the seven lights in the Bible. So whenever you see the seven stars, whenever you see the seven lights, whenever you see really the reference of seven, they're talking about Pleiades. I think Seven Star Garrow Cave, that's where her name was inspired. It's the seven stars. And basically it's the seven lights, the seven lamps, the seven lights, the seven lamps, the seven stars that it's referring to. Okay. Now, also the seven stars are all associated to a day of the week. Okay. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you how that is. Okay. Now, Sunday, of course, you know that is associated with the sun, which the sun is like the center star. It's the major star. It's the brightest star because it's closest to the earth. Okay. And then the moon, uh, Monday is associated with the moon. Okay, and there are some other things as well. But now that I showed you that, let me go ahead and click out of the stop sharing right quick, because I want to be able to show you guys this right quick. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, and so here we go. Let me get to this. Okay, so Pleiades is the seven. What I just showed you was Pleiades, and it's the seven stars, seven lamps, and seven lights. All right. Now, also, a lot of people don't know, like when you convert, when you have to convert names, and you have to convert a lot of stuff in the Bible, especially names, back to Hebrew. And when you convert it back to Hebrew, like the meaning of that name in Hebrew, then you get the actual meaning of what, that is really talking about. Okay. So Sunday, sun, is Helios. Is also referred to as Helios. Whenever you see Jesus is the Son, because it says that Jesus is the Son of Man. Jesus is the Son. And whenever you see SON, it should really be SUN. So Jesus is the Son of Man. Okay. And also, the sun is associated with the zodiac Leo, as well as it's associated with the fourth chakra, which is the green chakra, which is the heart chakra. And the heart chakra, of course, we know it produces unconditional, and it produces love. All right. All right. As well, Monday, which is Moon Day, because you add the O, and see that they do a lot of trickery when it comes down to words. But Monday, which is Moon Day, is associated, like we talked about last time. The moon is associated with emotions, and what emotions is energy in motion. Okay. And so energy in motion. So the because the moon, like just like the moon affects the tides and the waves in the ocean. And because we are water people, the moon also affects our emotions. It also affects us. We're 70-80% water. And it's also associated with the root chakra, which is the red chakra. And the root chakra is associated with, give me just 1 minute. The function of the root chakra is the root chakra is located at the base of the spine, because when we're talking about Jacob's ladder, we're talking about our spinal cord. Okay, there are 13 bones, 13 joints with our spinal cord. So there are actually 13 chakras, but now we're only talking about 7. And the reason why we talk about 7, and the reason why most religions only deal with 7, is because the Maya people, the Maya, only taught them 30 degrees of knowledge. Okay, so they only got 30 degrees of knowledge, because the Mayans were astrologers and astronomers. They're like our whole spiritual system, our whole life was revolved around the sun, the stars, the moon, and the planets. One of the pyramids that we built was specifically, for the observation of the heavens, the observation of the astronomy and astrology. All right. And even the Mayans, we created the almanac. We even had certain days that you plant, and everything that we did, like was centered around like where the stars and the moon and different things like that was positioned. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, okay, so we taught, the Western, what we call now the Western world. We gave them 30 degrees of information. Okay, so that's why we're 13 and they're 7. All right, now, so over there they have like they have spiritual. I mean, they have religious. They do have some spirituality, like the Doggons, and like there are different indigenous cultures that practice the spirituality. But however, this is what religions were influenced from. Like just like for instance the Egyptians. The Egyptians had the same pretty much belief that like the Mayans did. They were their life was centered around, revolved around, which is a spiritual based system. Astronomy, astrology, the sun, stars, and the moon, and also natural sacred sciences as well, just sacred sciences as well. But the root chakra is located at the base of the spine, which is Jacob's ladder in the Bible. It provides the foundation on which we build our life, representing safety, security, and stability. Imbalanced attributes would be scattered energies and anxiety and fear. So, fear, anxiety is all associated with the bottom lower part of your back. When the bottom lower part of your back hurts, then that's your generally it's you're probably anxious, nervous a lot, you have a lot of fears, and you're feeling insecure or unsafe. Okay, and like generally, like there are health problems associated with that area, with that specific area or that specific chakra. And so in order to like pretty much improve your health, you want to improve these things. You want to get rid of the anxiety, you want to get rid of the fear, you want to get rid of and just begin to feel more balanced and secure about yourself. Okay. All right, now, so that's Monday. It's the red chakra, the root chakra. Okay, on Tuesday, it's Mercury. It's associated with the planet Mercury, Hermes, thought. Now, I don't know if a lot of y'all, like, I study a lot of things. I study all kinds of cultures, all kinds of world religions, and world spirituality. Now, one of the things that they have is they claim that they found the emerald green tablets, which is by thought. And thought is associated with deep thinking, the mind, and different things of that nature. So the gods, excuse me, allergies. So the gods that are associated with that, and these are only from one perspective. There are other gods and stuff from other cultures like the Mayan. I'm not giving you the Mayan. I'm only giving you what you probably pretty much already know or associate with your religion. Okay, so the gods are the Greek mythologist gods, because mythology and religion is all the same. When you read it, it's going to read exactly the same. It's going to be the same stories, different names, different languages and stuff like that. But pretty much most of the mythologies, especially of the West, are all going to read the same. On the East, it's going to be a little bit more, a little different because we had a different culture. All right. And so Tuesday, which is associated with the planet Mercury. And you know, Mercury by Mercury retrograde, where the planets start going backwards. And you know, when the planets start going backwards, it affects us as well. You know, it affects us as well. It's like things that normally wouldn't happen, or it's like some people believe or some people think that a lot of things go bad during Mercury retrograde. A lot of bad things happen. But in my opinion, it's all about how you look at it. Because in spirituality, we believe that, you know, there's good and bad. You have to look for the good even in bad. You know, nothing happens accidentally. You know, like everything happens for a reason. But it's also it's associated with the sexual energy as well. So when you see people that practice tantric and things of that nature, you know, this is the second bone or the second joint of your spinal cord, is the sacral chakra, which is lined up, you know, sort of with your navel button. And you know that the color of that chakra is orange. Now colors produce energy and vibration as well. So like if you're having issues, just like if you're having issues with the bottom parts of your back, or you want to strengthen your sacral chakra, you want to like put a lot of red around. If you're having problems with sexual energy and stuff like that, or you know you're having problems, you know, like with the middle part of your back, you probably want to around your navel area, you probably want to, you know, have a lot of orange around, because it would like help, you know, like increase or improve that chakra. Okay, so that's Tuesday, Mercury, and that's your sacral. That's associated with sexual energy, as well as that's the orange chakra. Okay, now Wednesday, and this is all like a spinoff from what they were saying on the Larry Reid show. I'm just breaking it down, giving it a little more depth. I'm going to give you some more evidence and stuff like that of like where the Bible is primarily astrology, astronomy, and theology. It's astrotheology. Okay. Now, Wednesday, which is also known as Ash Day, is associated with the planet Venus. And I think that's wrong. Hold on. It is. Okay. It's associated with the planet Venus. Now, you know, men are for Mars, women are for Venus. You know, they always make that statement, but that doesn't mean they're right. Okay. But Wednesday is Ash Day. It's associated with Venus, and it's associated with Aphrodite. Now, the goddess Aphrodite. Now, Aphrodite, and it's also associated with self-esteem. It has to do with your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you value yourself, how you look at yourself. And the color for that is yellow. Now, Aphrodite or Aphrodite. Now, this goddess of like we say, aphrodisiac, and pretty much aphrodisiacs and stuff like that. That's like scent and pheromones and different things of that nature. Okay, well, how well you're confident, or how well how well you feel about yourself is how other people pretty much are going to feel about you at the end of the day. You know, if you feel good about yourself, then other people are going to pick up on that energy. If you feel bad about yourself, then pretty much people are going to see that as well. Or they're going to feel that negative energy or that negative frequency coming from you. So Wednesday, Ash Day, Venus, Aphrodite, self-esteem, and that color is yellow. All right, now Thursday, moving right along, is associated with Mars. And it's also associated with what I'm doing right now. It's the throat chakra, and that color is blue. All right, now the throat chakra, like, hey, it's associated with communication, and it's also associated with Aries. And Aries is a ram, and it's Ares. Ares. All right, so let me go back to the article. So I just broke down the days of the week real quick so that we'll have some general knowledge of, beforehand. So these 7 lights we know is the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They are the lights our eyes can see wandering in front of the fixed background of the stars. These are the main characters that create pattern in the sky, which have an effect on our lives here on Earth, which is also called Terra, which is also called the Garden of Eden. Okay, so let me read this scripture right quick and break it down for you. And this is Genesis 2, the second chapter, 5 through 7. And it says, God created Adam. And when they say Adam, they're not talking about Adam. When you translate Adam, Adam, you are talking about atom. Okay, now atom is, let me give you the definition of atom. Give me just 1 second. It's a nucleus. It's energy. Give me just 1 second. I want to read it specifically. Okay, that's the tree of life. Not you, not you. Atom. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to share screen on this one. All right. Where you go? Okay, so atom. Okay, I hope y'all can see this. If y'all can't, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But atom is the TC in the building. I had to look at my other phone. I forgot I had that up. I need to see if it comes up. Yeah, Aphrodite is a Greek goddess. Exactly, TC. TC in the building. If I didn't speak to anyone, hello. Okay, thank you, Sunshine. I wasn't sure. I had to look at my phone. My other computer is tripping. All right, so what an atom is not ADAM. So when they say God created Adam, they're not talking about a man named Atom. What they're really talking about is chemistry, is nuclear physics, it's physics. It's God created atom, atom. And how I know is because atom translates in Hebrew as atom, which is a structure, which is the proton, the neutron, and electron, which is energy, which is nuclear energy. And we are nuclear energy. When you say man, we are nuclear energy, okay? So atom means atom, and it's protons, neutrons, and electrons. And this is what the atom looks like. And it's not ADOAM like a man. It's ATOM, like chemical, like elements. It's elements, the combination of elements put together. Okay, so now that we know what atom is, at the time, okay, God created Adam at the time when the earth was still void, forming her from the earth's dust. Okay, so God formed Adam from the earth's dust. Okay, now if you look up the word Eve, EVE, in Hebrew, it translates into JAVA or HAVA. And what JAVA or HAVA means is mud. Is mud. So when we're saying, so like God made Adam from the earth, from wet dust, from wet dirt, from wet carbon, from mud, okay? And breathing into her nostrils the breath of life. Okay, now in I'm gonna just refer to the Kemetic life. Kemetic life they say it is the Ka, life, breath, breath, life, breath. Okay, and so like our spiritual systems, they related life with breath, with the breathing, because once you stop breathing, guess what? You're no longer, your physical is no longer living. So it's the breath that gives us life here on earth. So God gave at the atom, which is the proton, the neutron, and electron, breath. And he made the proton and the neutron and electron out of, gave us a physical existence from the dust, from the mud, from the carbon. Okay. And so God then gave atom the primeval Garden of Eden. Now, Garden of Eden, God gave, listen very closely. God then gave Adam the primeval Garden of Eden to tend to. So what is it we're supposed to be tending to? It's so simple. The Garden of Eden is earth. It's terra. It's the earth, the terra nova, or the terra. So earth, terra, Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden is all one thing because it's a planet. So basically the story breaks down. God created life, and he created from the mud, and he gave that mud breath. Gave that mud breath. Was the breath gave it life, and then he gave that atom, that life, the earth to tend to. And that's it in a nutshell. That is it in a nutshell. But because of the language translations and different things of that nature, like they seem to think it has something to do with gender, and it doesn't. It's basically talking about like the what do they call it? The intellectual design of God. How God, the science that God used to create us. Because as above, so below. We're all made in God's images. As above, so below. So God wants us to know how we were created, because we ourselves are creators. Okay. Okay. And atom is a source of energy, a nuclear energy, breath, life. So I think I covered that. All right. So moving right along. Let me go back to here. All right. So the brightest. So now that we know, like with Earth, Terra, and it also means Garden of Eden, as above, so below. The next paragraph states that the brightest of the seven lights in the sun, also known as Helios in Greece, and Helios atom in ancient Egypt. Atom sounds like atom, and it is in fact the same because the sun is an atom. Y'all get it? The sun is an atom. It has electric light. It has a core. The sun has a core, and electron bodies floating around it. So basically, the sun, basically the sun and the atom, or the sun and us humans, are the same. We're constructed pretty much the same. So we're light beings, we're energy, we're electrons, we're electrons, we're nuclear energy, we're built just like the sun. We're the same. We're made in the image of the sun. We are made in the same image as the sun. Okay. And it, in fact, is the same. The sun is, because the sun is an ambient electric light core and electron bodies floating around it. Okay. Plato said that the sun is the cause of our knowledge. And that's true, because like some people, they sun gaze. So they go out and look directly into the sun. We've always been told not to do it, but I have sun gazed myself. And as you can see, I'm not blind. Okay. I used to do it every morning around 7 o'clock. And what happens is you get vitamin D. They tell you need some sun. You got to use some sunscreen too. It gives you vitamin D, and you also get, consciousness. You also get a download of information And it activates, a lot of your chakras and different things like that. So you get a lot of well-needed spiritual, consciousness and different things like that from sun gazing. Okay. And so Plato said that the sun is the cause of our knowledge. Without it, we cannot see. So the sun is the teacher of the sense of the sight and the ruler of our eyes. And you would have to agree, because if it wasn't for the sun, there would be darkness. Okay. And as well, like if it wasn't for, like if with darkness, we wouldn't be able to see, we wouldn't have sight. So, I hope that makes sense to you. And it's the ruler of our eyes. The sun is Lucent one, or Lucifer. And let me just go ahead and say, what a lot of people don't know is there are multiple suns. I mean, really, the stars itself are little bitty minor suns. We are suns. Okay. Venus is, they call Venus Lucifer, the bringer of life, of light, the bringer of wisdom. And that's the second sun. Venus is the second sun. And, like a lot of people look at it so bad. Like sometimes if you go out and if you really have, your focus on, you can, during the daytime, you can see the sun might be shining bright over here. And you'll see something that looks like a moon. And it's not quite as bright, because you keep in mind that the man's sun, man's sun, the son of man, the son of man is the one that's closest to the earth, but Venus is farther away, so it's not, not gonna see as many rays. So if you go like outside, sometimes if you look up, at certain times you have to, chart it. They'll probably tell you when you're more prone to see it. But if you look up, sometimes you'll see the bright sun, and then you look up and it'll look like sort of like a moon, without the rays. And that's Lucifer, that's Venus, and Venus is the second sun. Okay. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the name of the sun god was Ra, the one who radiates, the one who radiates, or radiates, or Ray, Raydates. Okay. And in churches, you will often see the letters IHS. Okay, IHS on books, altars, baptismal fonts, etc. Always picture with a symbol of the sun around it. IHS stands for the Greek letter iota, eta, and sigma. So IHS, when you see it in church, I've seen it, on the sometimes on, like, they have little cloths dripping or whatever with IHS. On altars, they have it on baptismals. But the IHS means iota, which is Greek. And, if you're part of the Divine Nine, if you're Panhellenic, or if you're part of a sorority or a fraternity, then you're going to know what these mean. But iota, eta, and sigma. Okay, writing in our alphabet, IHS equals JAS or JHC. Now, the pronunciation of this word is Ges, GES, which is shorthand for Jesus. Jesus and the Son are the same. Jesus is the Son. Jesus Christ is God's Son. The Son is the risen Savior. So this IHS is a Christogram, a monogram, which is an abbreviation of the name Jesus. The early Christians were called Helionistic, which means those who have knowledge of the Son. So let me stop for a minute and make sure everybody's with me. So Jesus is the Son of Man. Jesus is Jesus is the Son. So let me get, just for a minute, let me just go through the chat real quick, see if everybody finally speak, do some shout outs, and then continue to go. All right, I see Jay Dunn on the ones and twos in the building. Magical Moon Goddess, I love your name, in the building. All right, Miss Lady Scoop, and I think I spoke to my girl TC, HBCU Queen already, but at whatever rate, TC in the building. Also, the Eastern Stars, Masons, and some Shriners know the codes. Yeah, they do. Yeah, but they reverse it too. They reverse some of the knowledge as well. All right. I have traveled overseas. I studied spirituality and linguistics. Good. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Linguistics and etymology is very important in terms of knowledge of life, knowledge of nature, knowledge of origins, knowledge of self, and knowledge of religion. You cannot, like I said, just like the Bible has been translated 7 different times. And anytime you translate something that many times, something's going to get lost, or somebody's going to change something, because man had to put their hands on that book. Man has put their hands on that book. So man will change, misinterpret, or something. So, like that book, it's not written in its actual meaning, because languages, like they say, English language is the worst language. It's the hardest to. We have to use so many words to convey like spiritual deep messages. Okay, so in order to get the essence of the truth or the real knowledge of the Bible, most people over here don't really understand the Bible and how to read it. It's allegories, it's astrology, it's numerology, it's astrophysics. It's great, really is great, but it's not to be interpreted like most people interpret it. All right. And my queen is way smarter than I am. TC, come on now. Come on now. We might want to just say she has a different form of knowledge, or different various knowledge. Like, I don't think like nobody's smarter than the next. It's just that some people have knowledge in this area and some people have knowledge in that area. It's like we were all put here on earth for a reason. So like some people's strengths are going to be over here and some people's strengths are going to be over there. But that doesn't make anybody better or worse or less than the next. But she's a nurse and we study and travel together. She's the science guru. Cool. I would love to talk to her. I'd love to have her on or something. Cool. Because I'm definitely into all of that. And especially when it relates to medicine as well, or, the body, anatomy, and things of that nature. All right. So now that I've spoken to everybody, let's get back to the business here. All right, so I'm continue reading, and I'm gonna try to break it down as we go, and then I'm gonna sum it up, and then I'm gonna take some questions. So if y'all have some questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. But so we have just considered that Jesus is the Son. Jesus is the Son, and not SON, SUN of man. Helionistic. The Christians were called Helionistic, which means those who have knowledge of the Son. And to be honest with you, all spirituality, all religion revolves around the Son. If you really ask me, because I haven't seen it yet written, because I haven't like really looked for it. But because I always tell you that the heavens, or the cosmos, are our ancestors. Because they're beings, they're living, their life, they're living. As above, so below. So if you ask me, and this is just my opinion, I would just say, the Son is a God, or the Son is God, or the Son is one of the highest sources, if you ask me. But that's just my opinion, so I'm going to leave that there. But in Hebrew, yes or just means fire or the sun. So Jesus, the JES, it means son. So son us. So son us, son of man. Son us, son of man. So JES means fire or the sun. So, son of man, us, being son of Adam, ATOM. Okay, the name of the son in Hebrew is Michael, or Emmanuel. All right, now I'm going to tell you about that El. El converted in Hebrew also means, give me just 1 minute, I wrote that down. Elohim is the chakra system, and it's the 7 lights. El means lights. El means God. Like when they say Israel, it's Isis Ra-El. Isis Ra-El. Let me because I want y'all to see it, because I don't want to go too fast. I want y'all to see what I'm saying. There we go, right there. Okay, so when you say, I should have made that bigger, but it's the one strolling. When you're saying Israel, you're saying Isis. You're breaking down 3 different what they call gods, because Isis Isis is the god. It's like Isis is a god in Kemetic science or Egyptian science. Ra is a god, the sun god of Egyptian science, and El is the god of Egyptian science. But they're all the same god. They're all the sun. So right here, they're confirming my belief that the sun is a god. Okay, and Israel also is the son, also is the son, us, the son of man, which is that first man, the one that shines the closest. Because like, keep in mind that there are many suns. There are more than one sun. The sun is basically a star. The sun is basically an atom. We are basically a star. We are basically suns. We're made in the same image as the sun. As above, so below. Now I hope everybody is following me. I hope everybody's following me. I hope I'm not losing anyone. All right. So I'm about to go back to this article real quick. And I like this article because, you know, it's not like straight up and down. And it gets into some great points that I want to bring out before we actually go over some scriptures that includes astrology in the Bible. Okay. So the name of the sun in Hebrew is Michael. And Michael is also an archangel. Like a lot of, you hear a lot of people, especially the Catholics and different people, they say Archangel Michael, which is one of the 7 angels. And each one of these 7 lights is associated with one of the 7 angels. And let me just be real clear right here. There is more than just 7 lights. There's more than just 7 chakra systems. There's more than just 7 lamps. 7 with 7 lamps or 7 stars. Okay, there's actually 13, but when we say 7, we're talking about just up to here, just to the top of our head from our spinal cord, and we're talking about earth. We're talking about the Garden of Eden only. We're talking about Jacob's, also referred to as Jacob's ladder. When you hear about the spinal cords, when you hear about the chakra system, this is also referred to in the Bible by Jacob's ladder. So we're not talking about all 13 of because there's 13 of everything. Minds believe there's 13 realms of life, 13 realms of life. There's as above, so below. There's it's like 7. Okay, the underworld has so many, then it's here, and then the up at 7 is the middle point because 7 is above the 6. Okay, in numerology. So, and then you have, the remaining 6. Okay, but there's 13 of everything. There's 13 spinal joints down your bones. Shoot, the turtle has 13 triangles on it. Okay, let's say 30. That's why we own them in America. That's why the stars, the white stars that are on the banner, that's why you have 13. And no, 13 is not a bad luck number for us, for the people of the sun. Now, it's bad luck for certain people, but it's not bad luck for the people of the sun. And this is why, like I said, they reverse the energy or they misguide us. They made us feel like 13 was bad just with the Friday the 13th. And just going off of this knowledge that we have just right now, Friday, which is Jupiter. Friday, which is the moon Jupiter is associated with, which is associated with the 6th chakra, in which the 6th chakra would be the 3rd eye chakra. All right, Friday the 13th. So Friday is associated with the 3rd eye chakra. Friday is associated with the 3rd eye chakra. And it's located, the 3rd eye chakra is like, your pineal gland. It's associated with your pineal gland. That's that little bitty thing it's inside the, back of your head, which helps you to have spiritual enlightenment if it's not clogged. And there's ways like eat a lot of green things and different things like that to keep your pineal gland from being clogged. That's why they give us certain things, just like fluoride and the toothpaste, clogs your pineal gland. I also, give me one sec here. All right. I also take this. This is called chaga mushroom extract. Now, it has a lot of medicinal benefits, but this is also something real good for unclogging your third eye, your pineal gland. All right. So, so basically on Friday the 13th, you see how they reverse the energy, because this is the energy associated with your third eye, associated with, your spiritual eye, associated with your spiritual growth. Which is, helps with your intuition, your foresight, and is driven by the openness and imagination. And when it's off balance, it's like you lack creativity. You can't see. You have a lack of clarity. So yeah, do y'all now see what I'm talking about, or how they reverse our energy? Yeah, you can activate that. TC, in fact, our job or our purpose, one of our purposes here on Earth, the purpose that we're here on Earth is to activate our Jacob's ladder, to activate our seven lights, to activate our seven lights. Just like what they say, what's the Christian? Well, everything, shining star, like this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I mean, it's a lot of things that are associated that, but pretty much that's what we're here to activate our seven lights, and each one of our seven lights helps balance us. Our purpose is to activate all seven of our lights. Okay, now I'm about to get into some go ahead and get into some other stuff here. All right, so St. Patrick's 390 AD. The true Christ is the sun. I don't know what St. Patrick's is, but that's some kind of reference to a scripture. And it says the true Christ is the sun. And then Predulian 365 AD, the sun is the center of the solar system. Irenaeus, the Gnostic, really declared that all supernatural transactions in the gospel were counterparts of what took place in the sky and the heavens. And Leonardo da Vinci said that I could wish that I had such power of language as should avail me to assure those who would set the worship of man above that of the sun. Woo, say it again, Leonardo. Those who wish to worship man and historical Christ make a huge error. And remember when I was saying spirituality helps the atom, helps atoms, help us beings to master self, to activate our seven chakras, and religion instructs the atom or the man to follow man. Okay, so we're trying to activate our chakras. So you want to, it's spirituality. You got to get into spirituality, to activate your chakras. Okay, in the Bible, Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. Every eye will see me. Okay, and I'm gonna read that again. In the Bible, Jesus says, I'm the light of the world. Every eye will see me. So Jesus is referred to as the sun that's closest to the earth, the one that we see every day, because it's more than one. So that sun that we see every day, that represents Jesus, the Son of Man. Okay, so Bible, Simon, for the Lord God is a sun and a shield. Once again, the Bible, Simon, for the Lord God is a sun and a shield. Okay, Bible, Psalms 48:11. The Lord is a shield and a sun. Psalms 48:11. The Lord is a shield and a sun. Okay, Bible, John 4:8. God is love. Okay, John 1:5. God is light. God is love. God is light. God is love. God is light. God is the heart chakra, and God is the sun. All right. Hebrews 12:12. For our God is a consuming fire. And that's, once again, that's Hebrews 12:12. For our God is a consuming fire. All right, so y'all got that? Did that make sense to everybody? I hope I didn't lose anybody. Okay, yeah, let me see. TC says the real leprechauns were black. The Aboriginal people of Ireland and Scotland were the pygmies of Africa. Yeah, all over the world. The people of the sun were the carbon people, were the original people all over the planet. All over the planet. Every speck. It's crazy to think they want us to think that we came from one place. No. Like with the with the carbon, the children of the sun. And we were all over the earth. 666 is black people. It's dark people. It's people my color. It's people with melanin. Oh, not just my color or my tone. I mean people, dark black people. 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. What else has 6? What else has electrons, protons, and neutrons? What else has electrons, protons, and neutrons? Electrons, protons, neutrons, electrons. I'm about to get tongue tied. Electrons, protons, neutrons, an atom. So we are 360 degrees human. The children of the sun. Not all can say that, because like right now, y'all know that they're doing a whole lot of, organ trafficking, a lot of, the epidemic of missing black girls and children are coming up at an all-time. It's an epidemic. And it's more than just sex trafficking. We're hearing all about this organ. If you look it up, melanin, our type of melanin, because they have all other races have melanin too, but the specific type of melanin, the specific type of carbon that creates the color of our skin, that like sort of gives us a sort of natural protection of the sun or whatever. And we still have to use you still have to use some sun screen now. Come on. But the 666, that melanin is worth $360 or $380 an ounce. $380 an ounce. And this is what helps some people who lack melanin live longer. Let me just say this too. Let me just go off into a tangent. I be trying, I got ADHD. That's why I have to try to read and try to break it down, because I don't want to be having y'all way out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I will have y'all way out there. So let me just, try to go into just a little bit of tangent. When you see people with lighter eyes, when you see people like, sometimes dark people, black people with blonde hair and stuff naturally, or albinos, they have a carbon melanin deficiency. That means that, they're lacking carbon and melanin. Most people with lighter eyes, they cannot look, like they can't take too much sun. And I'm not saying that they're less than or anything like that. It's just like any other, deficiency or any other deficiency. But when, you see people with cat eyes, bright eyes, blue eyes, because, there are some people with carbon who have blue eyes, especially a lot of the astroloids, Aboriginal astroloids that are related to us Americans. Their eye, you'll see they have blue eyes, and that's the lack of melanin. Okay, and and so it affects like how much sun that they can intake. Okay, so that's just one lesson. So there are dark people with blonde hair and things like that. It's a melanin, the cat eyes and all those different things. The blue eyes, the gray eyes and stuff. That's a melanin deficiency. Blonde, naturally albinos. That's a melanin deficiency. A melanin deficiency. So. There you go. But let me get back on track. Okay, the sun is also called the 7-ray God. Here we go again. So I was right. Okay, the sun is also called the 7-ray God. So there are 7 rays that they're saying that's associated with the I guess Jesus, with Jesus. Okay, 7 rays associated with Jesus, and that's why like the Bible and religion has 7. That was the 30 degrees of information that we shared. Okay, and because of the 7 colors of the rainbow, the planets are the atoms of the sun, and so are we. Okay, so let me read that again. The planets are the atoms, the atoms of the sun, and so are we. That's why that's why we are called children, youngsters, meaning young stars. Did y'all hear that? Youngsters, young stars. I didn't know that. Okay, so youngsters is youngsters basically means young stars. We're stars. We're beings. Stars is being energy. It's electrons. It's nuclear energy. It's small suns. Yada yada yada. Okay, so all planets reflect the light of the sun. The sun is the only light which gives us direct light and protons. The other lights are reflectors. Okay, so the sun is the only one that gives us direct light. The other stars and stuff, the other stuff that we see, like just like even with Venus being so far away, like it's just a reflector. You can't, we don't get the rays. We only get rays from Jesus, the Son of Man. Okay, through astrotheology, it will become very clear that the biggest lie ever told in history, his story, the biggest lie ever told in his story, which means his story, history, his story, because there is a her story. Okay, y'all, there is a her story. Is that Jesus Christ was a historical person. Jesus Christ never existed. I think I heard somebody say, I think it was, I listened to the brother Epiphany lectures, and he was saying that they made an announcement from the Vatican that they finally made an announcement, and most people just went flat over, clean over their head, that Jesus wasn't real and Jesus was never returning. Okay, now let me tell you, everywhere when you go to church, you see that big round circle. That's the sun. When you see the lady and the baby, that's the sun. Okay, when like it's the sun. I know I probably done hurt some people's hearts today, but truth is better than a lie. Okay, but that's a sun. Okay, so ain't no Jesus coming back because Jesus ain't real. Not that Jesus that you think in your head that's a man or something. The Jesus that they talk about, you see every day, and that's that sun. Okay, and say all the stories, the Bible, and all myths, they all mean the same thing. They describe the relationship between the sun and the earth, the day and the night, the summer and the winter, storm and calm, good and evil. All characters in these stories are the characters of the solar system. Astrotheology is the source of all of them, and our true religion is the natural cycle of nature. Our true religion is the natural cycle of nature. And what do? They disconnect us from nature. Okay? All right, now let me break down these 4. Okay, 4 is a very important number as well. Okay, when you look at 13, so if we were to break that down in numerology to a single number, you would have 1 plus 3, which equals 4. Now let me tell you, okay, when you say, okay, like there are 4 elements, there are like 4 elements of 4 elements, and that's air, water, fire, and earth. Okay, there are 4 corners of the world: north, south, east, west. Okay, there is 4 solstices or 4 seasons: summer, winter, spring, and fall. Okay, natural cycle of life, numerology, math, God's intellectual design, the sun's intellectual design. Okay, now another thing I want to bring up that this article just brought up was polarity, duality. As above, so below. Pairs. Okay, everything, the yin and the yang sign, which also the yin and the yang sign also represents the infinite, the infinity sign. Give me just 1 second. Let me see if I could pull that up. Nope, that ain't it. That's okay, but that's the infinity. The yin and the yang. That's the white and the black, and it basically it's good and bad and everything, and it's basically saying that there are pairs and there are opposites to everything. There's an opposite, just like there's an opposite. Winter, cold, hot. What are the other ones? I can't even think. Good, bad, good, evil. Because basically, okay, let's look at good and evil. God, if you remove the O, you have God. And evil, if you add a D, you have devil. Good, evil, God, devil. It's opposites. It's polarity, it's yin and the yang. It's there's some good in everything, bad in everything. You know, it's opposites. Okay. These seven characters are the sun. Helios or Jesus, the moon, Luna, Selene, Mercury, Hermes, Thoth, Venus, Aphrodite, Mars, Aries, Ares, not Aires. I guess they added that I in there, Aries, which is a ram, Jupiter, Zeus. And these are like these characters I'm calling out are not the characters of our indigenous not our indigenous gods. These are the Greek gods. We have our own indigenous gods. So we have our own indigenous gods that are associated with it. Just like for one, um Venus, Aphrodite is associated with in indigenous America, Mayan, Exchi Quetzalcoatl. Exchi Quetzalcoatl. Give me 1 minute. Yo Chi Quetzalcoatl. Yo Chi Quetzalcoatl. Okay. Okay. In the Bible, the relationship between, for example, Abraham and Sarah and Jesus and Maria Magdalene both represent the interactions between the sun and the moon. So Abraham and Sarah, because they were husband and wife, Jesus and Mary Magdalene both represent the interaction between the sun and the moon. And the sun is a polarity of the moon. Sun gives us light, moon is darkness. So like that's representing the yin and the yang. That's representing the polarities. Okay, the seven, and these are wisdoms. Now, this don't sleep on this stuff. This is like wisdoms. This is life stuff that you should know. This is stuff that will help you get a long way if you realize that there are opposites in everything. Like this is stuff that deep knowledge. Okay, the seven lights also have a connection with the seven energy wheels, the chakras in the body. The seven lights are also known as Elohim. So the chakra systems, Jacob ladder, the seven energy wheel, which is our Elohim. And El means sun, and then it's like El of him. Elohim, El of him, El of man, El of Atom, the son of man, Jesus. Got it. In the Bible, we can read the El of man, the Elohim. We can read the Elohim say, let us make man after our image. Let us make man after our image. Elohim says, let us make man after our image. And Elohim is Jesus, the son of man, the son that we see that's the closest. A lot of stars are called, when translated, the ones who coming. The ones who coming, because they keep moving, coming and going in a year time. Illustrating examples of this are Perseus and Aries and Hercules. But yeah, I have seen that as well. Like I've been outside and I like moon gaze and I meditate to the moon and different things like that. And, you know, like just like the shooting star. I don't know how many of you witnessed a shooting star, but I've seen that multiple times. All right. And, you know, like I've just been sitting there real still, and I get real still, and you just see a little star, and it's just like, and you can just tell. And sometimes you can see them do like they're doing like a little dance or something. You know, it's like they're doing a little dance. So I've always known through observation, and I guess because my third eye is open, that, you know, I've always been able to see, you know, that them move. You know, their move. So, you know, I've always known that the star beings move. Okay, the moon connects with our first chakra. I think I went over this a little too early, but I've already gone over it, but I'm going to brush through it. Mercury with our second, Venus with our third, the sun with our fourth, which is in the middle, our heart chakra, and they don't spell heart, 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 they spell it Hart, which is our heart chakra. Mars with our fifth, Jupiter with our sixth, Saturn with our seventh, which is our crown chakra. Our purpose in life is to activate these 7 powers, in which there are actually 13. There's 13 chakras, because there's chakras that go above here, like the aura, like your aura, the energy field around you. That's, you know, that's another one. You know, so there are 13 chakras, but like here on Earth, Terra Nova, Terra, or the Garden of Eden, it's 7. You know, like we're supposed to activate these 7. Our job is to activate these 7. Okay, so the moon is the closest to the Earth and has an orbit of approximately 29.5 days, while Saturn is the furthest away from Earth and orbits the sun in approximately 29.5 years. Now, I'm not sure about that 29, because Mayans, you know, I got to, you know, really look at that. I meant to look at that before I got online, because Mayans is like, okay, the Mayan calendar system goes like this. See, the Greco calendar, and see, this is how they have us out of sync with nature and out of sync with natural nature as well, because they have us out of sync with the moon cycles and the sun cycles, and, you know, out of sync with them, out of sync with divinity, out of sync with the gods and the goddesses. All right, but like with the Greco is 365 days a year. And so with the Greco, like I said, they be talking about 12 tribes. No, there's not 12 tribes. There's 13 tribes. 13 tribes mean 13 months, means 13 moon cycles. Okay? So there's 13 months, 13 moon cycles. And out of those 13 with the Mayan calendar, it's 20 days. So we call that the 1320 cycle. And they said if we were to get in sync with the 1320 cycle, we would be in sync with nature. We would be in sync with as above and so below. Right now, just because of that Greco calendar, that 365 day thing, we're out of sync with nature. We're out of sync. Okay. They're trying to disconnect us from nature. They're trying to disconnect us from us. Bam. There you go. Because you know, because well, okay. So I said 29.5 years. In other words, Saturn rules Chronos. And what Chronos is time. Like they call that little machine that in most jobs or whatever, the Chronos or whatever. Chronos means time. And it's the personification of time. The man turning the zodiac wheel, also known as eon, external time. And one of the secrets to life, we never die. We should conclude that we lose this body, this carbon goes back to the earth, but our energy, our spirit, our energy, nuclear energy lives on forever. That means that life is timeless. The earth is timeless. Timeless. Like timeless. That's why they have us sped up. That's why they have us on you got to be here by the time. You got to be here by this time. You got to be here by this time. Because, like they make us feel like, time is going to end. And then, they got us looking at, rebirth, rebirth cycle, the death rebirth cycle in a negative way. But pretty much you lose the body, and then you either graduate to another level of life, or you have to come back and learn some lessons to activate them chakras, or activate them seven lights, them seven lamps, seven light lamps. That means you didn't activate the seven lamps, and you probably were going to hit the target. So you was pulled to come back again to try it again. But time is endless, which means time is endless. Like, we live forever. We live forever. Our spirits live forever. Like, we're old souls. We're all old souls. We've been here before. We've been here probably no telling how many times. Okay. Saturn is the ruler of the ears, because where there is minimum sunlight, we depend on our hearing more than our eyes. Saturn is the god of law. In court, they use a lot of Latin language. This is the language of Saturn. So Satan and Saturn, y'all see the word plays for everything: good, God; devil, evil; Satan, Saturn. Etymology, linguistics. This is how they like, and people are sitting there and they're actually, like, you see people in this sector, the demon, the devil, and they think that's a real being. People still think Jesus coming back. In the conscious community, they say Sky Daddy. They think Sky Daddy coming back. Okay, so there, the three wheels of time are the day. These are the three wheels of time. It's the day, the year, and the great year. The great year is a time cycle of 24,000 to 26,000 years. Okay, let me explain that. The Mayan calendar. Okay, they thought that the Mayan calendar was going to end, or ended in 2012. It didn't. And this is why they thought that it ended, because of the great year. The great year is like, is associated with zodiacs as well. And so, like, what happened was that age ended. The age of Pisces ended, and now we're in the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is the great awakening period, and it's also the rise of the divine feminine. The rise of the divine feminine. The rise of the divine feminine. Okay. So, like, that's, so the Mayans go off of that system. And this is why they've always referred to the Mayan calendar, for predictions. Now, they might throw, what's that dude name in there? I forgot the dude they always used to come, Nostradamus or whatever. They used to compare Nostradamus's predictions. But Nostradamus pretty much got his information from the Mayans. Like, we here in America, we taught a lot of people. And like I said, one of the things that happened was we were smart enough to not give them 360 degrees of knowledge. We only gave them 30 degrees of knowledge. And our knowledge is still with us. You sun gaze, and you're going to download it right back into your DNA, right back into your Akashic records. Because it's you are your ancestors. You are your ancestors. That's why they say, well, things come in threes, but never mind about that. But they say when one dies, one is born. And most families, that's why they say when one dies, one is born. And they always say that generally that born person resembles the person that just passed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people, even in indigenous cultures, they even like name that baby after, that the ancestor. So, there you go with that. All right. The moon gives us the month and the minute. Okay. Hours, which is also Horus. Like in Egyptian, Greek mythology, Horus is a god, and Horus basically is synopsis for hours, or allegory, or whatever you want to say, for hours, which is the name of the sun when it rises. Where is Horus? Meaning, what hour is it? Where's Horus? Meaning, what hour is it? And look at the spelling: Horus. And you just, all you gotta do is take the U and put it in between the O and the R, and you got hours. Bam. Little simple games they play. Okay, the day, the year, and the great year can all be divided into 4 parts. I talked about this earlier. The day, morning, midnight, afternoon, and night. The year, winter, the solstices, the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. The year, iron, iron, bronze, silver, and gold. Iron, bronze, silver, and gold. Now I forgot what age we're in right now. I gotta look that up. Anybody know? TC, you know what age we're in? Anybody know what age we're in? Okay, yeah, y'all talk about Capricorns. Anytime people have no education and knowledge about something, they resort to calling it devil. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Moon and sun gazing. Yeah, I do that. All right. So I just want to see what my people talk about. But did anybody know like what age we're in? I can't not remember. I have to look it up. But let me get back for the time being so I can get us out of here like we're in church service or something. All right. So the great years associated with iron, bronze, silver, and gold, and those are things that are in the earth. Those are things that are the planets are also formed from those, because there's a planet made of gold, silver, and bronze and iron. There are planets that are also made of those. Okay, by understanding these cycles, we understand why history went from good to bad and from bad to good. Day, night, winter, summer, iron, golden, all of these cycles dominate us. Astrophysics and astronomy have proven that almost 90% and probably 100% of all stars are in a binary. And we know a binary, 0, 1, 0, the computers, the language of the computers, binary. Okay. All stars need a dual. And that's the polarity, that's the duality I was talking about that we're talking about now. Our sun, Helios, Horus, or Jesus, is also in a binary with another star. So all the stars and stuff, the sun is in a binary with another star. And I heard that too. Like every sun has two pairs. That's why like the big dipper or whatever, like the Pleiades or whatever. That's why there are certain fixed patterns, because there's they have like children, or they have like atoms that are pairs of atoms that are associated with them. They have energy sources that are associated with them as well. So like every sun has a pair that's associated with them, and then that star has a pair that's associated with them. So like that's where they get the binary. Okay, so the sun has a pair, then that sun has a pair, then those suns have pairs, and so on. But the star Sirius, which is the constellation of Canis Major, the big dog, and this is what the dog guns talk about a lot, is in a binary with our sun, or follows our sun. Our year starts January the 1st because of the alignment of the sun, Sirius, and the earth. And our year should not start in January. I'm sorry. This is some Greco information, and we know that because they're using Greek gods. But our year should not start in January. We're off a lot. The Greco calendar has us off a lot, and that's because they lack a lot of understanding. And yet they're trying to teach, and then at the same time they don't want us to wake up. They don't want this great awakening. They don't want the rise of this divine feminine energy to reappear. Okay, but we have to activate our chakras so that like this divine feminine we can take our proper place, and we can elevate to our proper level so we can be who we're supposed to be. Okay, now it takes between 24,000 and 25,920 years for Sirius and Helios, the sun, Horus, Jesus, to complete one cycle. The pyramids in the pyramids in Egypt also indicate that there is a binary between Sirius and the sun. One of the shafts in the Great Pyramid points directly to Sirius. Now, Egypt or Kemet does not, the land of the black, the land of some of the blacks, is not the only pyramids. In Mexico, we have pyramids as well. Now we don't have the points. Our pyramids are a little different. We don't have the points, but our pyramids are aligned in alignment as well. And I think it's like a Cyrus. I think it's like we're in alignment with those Cyrus the system, the constellation system Osiris. Okay. George R. Goodman, early 1900s, our entire solar system with all its planets and moons describe a huge circle around another sun in space and the star Sirius. Albert Churchill, our sun was thrown off from another sun. Our sun was thrown off from another sun. Sirius is also known by the Egyptians as the star of Isis. Isis Rael, Israel, the star of Isis. The goddess Isis is embodied by the star of Sirius. Like her son Horus, which Horus is owl, like her son Sun. So Horus, the hours are the son of Isis. Okay, so we're talking about another star. We're talking about another sun. Okay, we're talking about another sun, another star, and her son is Horus. Is embodied. Well, the mythology says that Horus is her son, but I think that Isis is the son of Horus. Is embodied by our son Helios. Okay, this means in fact that our son was born from Isis or Sirius, and that is why they are in a binary together. Therefore, Isis and Horus are the same characters as Jesus and Mary, and are in fact the sun and the Sirius moving away from each other and moving toward each other in their binary. Our heavenly bodies in our solar system have relationships with each other. Also, do planets and star constellations harmonize with our bodies? The zodiac wheel shows us how this holy science works. The life of Jesus represents the sun moving through the 13, not 12. They got 12 here, but through the 13 signs of the zodiac. The 13 signs are the 13 potential energies, will harmonize with the 5 basic energies or elements: earth, air, fire, water, and ether. Bam. Okay, let me say that again. There are 5 elements. There are 5 elements. There are 5 elements. It is earth, which is Terra, which is also the Garden of Eden. Air, fire, water, and ether. And ether is AETHER, because a lot of people spell ether without the A, but ether, they have it spelled AETHER. And it's like something like a gas, or it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's something like it's like a specific type of very reactive energy. Like a very reactive, it's like stronger than regular energy. Stronger than regular. It's like gaseous. It's like I ain't gonna say atomic, but it has an atomic capability. But earth, air, fire, water, and ether. The 13 signs are harmonized with the 7 chakras, or the 13 chakras. Each of the 13 star signs represent a part of our body. So each of the 13 star signs represents a part of our body. So each one of the stars is associated, like I said, health. When we're talking about health, like we was to TC, when we're talking about health, like our bodies are reactive to each one of the planets. Like each one of the planets. Just like the moon the moon affects our menstrual and different things like that. It affects our emotions, energy, emotions. Each one of those planets, they like affect a part of our body as well. So there you go. As above, so below. Once again, as above, so below. The 13 star signs also represent the 13 apostles of the Bible. Okay, when you study ancient maps of the world, you will see a wave in the middle of the earth moving around the equator. This is called a sin wave. It is the path of the sun moving through the 13 constellations. This is a fractal of everything. It is the man in the sky. I don't get that right there. I'm gonna have to think about that. Oh, okay. It is the man in the sky. Okay, now this patriarchal as well. Greek patriarchal. Greeks created patriarchy. Okay. Um. Okay. The man in the sky is the man in the sky, the first being to emerge with the creation of the cosmos. His, which should be her body, is the body of the world, as above, so below. And what they're trying to say is Adam Kadmon. Okay, and what they're doing is Adam, Atom, Ka means breath. So that like this is the creation story. This is God created Adam at the time when the earth was still void, forming her from the earth and dust and breathing. So breathing, the breath is Ka. Adam is the source of the nuclear energy, like our spirit. Adam is our spirit, the breath, and then we have Eve, our bodies, our physical bodies, physical bodies. When you place okay, you'll see the relation of the body with each star sign. For instance, the constellation of Aries rules the ram, rules the head. The constellation of Taurus rules the neck. The constellation of Gemini rules the shoulders and the lungs, and so on. By knowing this and by knowing your birth chart, you'll know yourself. See also the paperwork of okay, well, they got another link. I'm gonna try to drop it in here in just a minute. Traditional Christians, and especially the Vatican, call this holy science or knowledge from the devil. Call this holy science or knowledge from the devil. That's because they don't want you to master yourself. That's because they want to keep you in the matrix. They want to keep making money off of you. They want to keep controlling you. And this is why they don't. They call it knowledge of the devil, in which we already know the devil is just the polarity of good and it's just evil. Okay. And do everything they can to keep you away from these insights. The Vatican tries to do everything that they can to keep you from these insights. The reason for this is obvious. When we start to know ourselves, we become more conscious of our rights, and they can no longer control us the way they did for centuries, and they will lose their power. The Catholic Church is the Church of Christ, the Son, but also the Church of Peter, Jupiter, and the Church of Saturn, the Church of the Church of Saturn. It is in fact a Saturn church, a Latin church. They use a lot of Latin words in their rules and their laws. And keep in mind that Saturn is, the language of Latin is influenced by Saturn, Okay. So the Sun and Saturn are Jesus and Satan. The Sun and Saturn are Jesus and Satan, and they are at war with each other, like all twins in the Bible: Cain and Abel, Jacob and Azu, whatever, Horus and Seth. Okay, the Sun is the hottest, and Saturn is the coldest. The Sun is our savior. Satan represents the wintertime, the Iron Age, and the night. The Son, Jesus, brings us light, love, and life, and spring and summer. Okay, so the Sun. Okay, yeah. So there's also, that's why I like depression, seasonal depression or, seasonal depression. They say that during the winter, and this is also where they say, what else do they say about the winter? It's just the time. Winter, like it's all about how you look at it. Because we're inside so much, because there's not a lot of sun. Okay, you get seasonal affective disorders or whatever. Some people, where they get depressed or whatever. A lot of people, they gain weight during the winter, and as well, it's like also a time where we grow. We grow because a lot of times we spend a lot of time with self because we're inside. So therefore, and you're only going to grow. So like I said, nothing is bad. You know, even though it's bad, there's good and bad. You know, it's all about how you look at it. You know, you got to go through darkness. You got to go through darkness to get to the light. Okay? So theology is about morals, ignorance, and doctrine. So theology, which is religion, which is patriarchy, is about morals, ignorance, and doctrine. In fact, it tells you to just believe and then you will be saved. That is if you don't question anything. In philosophy or spirituality, they say philosophy because there's also astro philosophy, but we call it spirituality. But in philosophy, love and wisdom, it's about love and wisdom. We see logic. How do I know the world? Ethics. How do I live in it? And physics. How is the world made? So, like in astro philosophy and spirituality, we question. It's about knowledge and not belief, because it's better to know than to be naive or to believe. It's better to know than to be naive, believe in a lie. It's better to know than to believe in a lie. Knowledge is power. Okay, the Bible is there to enslave fools and to enlighten the wise ones. The Bible is there to enslave fools and to enlighten the wise ones, because the wise ones know the correct way of looking at the Bible, just like now, like I've just showed you, that it's allegories. And you have to you have to go back to, you have to break down, go back to the Hebrew, break down the names to get the correct meanings, and you have to have an open mind. Fools are people who just believe, fools are people who just keep running and believing in a lie and not question it. If you just running and believing what they told you, your fault. Like you just, listening to what they say and believing it. And see, I can't believe that they done came out and they done told you, the Pope done told you Jesus ain't real and he ain't coming back. Jesus ain't coming back. And people are still believing it. They when all of, oh, you don't know what he's talking about. But the Vatican is where the Pope is. And that's the central force. And the Vatican is over all world religions. Now I say all, the Vatican is over all, whether it be Muslim, whatever. They're over all world religions. Now they're not over indigenous spiritual systems. So there's a difference there. Okay, so the Bible is there to, okay, I said that. So Giordano Bruno, killed brutally by Christians in 1600s, who was a philosopher, said, we have to go back to the real Christianity, the religion of Egypt. And, for my sake, the religion of Maya, because I'm a Mayan. Okay, the Bible must not be taken literally. Exactly. The Bible is the allegory, is not to be taken literally. In the time cycle of the year of 21st of March, when the sun enters the constellation of Aries, the ram, the sun is Horus, the hour, or Jesus, on his way to the enthronement. On June 21st, where it will be Ra, because when it radiates the most light. Okay, so around March the 21st, the sun enters the constellation of Aries. Okay, and okay, so then the sun, Aries, the sun becomes the son of man. The sun becomes the son of man on his way to the enthronement. So on its way on June the 21st, where it becomes Ra, the god, a god, because it then will radiate the most light. Bam. Okay. So in time, in the time of cycle of the day, Horus represents the moment of the sunrise around 6 a.m. At noon, the sun will be Ra, since the sun then radiates the most light. In the time cycle of the great year, the sun is about to leave the period of the Iron Age to enter the Golden Age. Then we will also move into the age of Aquarius, where we are right now. we're in the age of Aquarius. Okay, and at that time, leave the age of Pisces after 2000. In everything we see the principle of resistance, night and day, good and evil, winter and summer, Jesus and Satan, male and female, electric and magnetic. The duality is necessary. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Male, female. All right. Everything in the universe is electric or magnetic. Electricity radiates and magnetism contracts. So electricity goes out, magnetism pulls in. Okay, the sun, Jesus is electric and Saturn is a magnet. So the sun radiates out, Saturn pulls in. Saturn pulls in. Okay, the sun is the religion of seeing. Without the sun, you cannot see. And Saturn is the religion of hearing. So the sun represents like the sight, and Saturn represents the hearing, the ears. Teaches you about the sixth sense and the intuition. And so Saturn also teaches you about your sixth sense and your intuition, because you can't see. And when you can't see, you have to rely on intuition. You have to rely on your sense. You have to rely on your feel, because you can't see. Bam. Okay, so Saturn represents the night in which we have to depend more on our hearing than on our seeing. Therefore also called the black sun. Saturn is also called the black sun because it's a sun. Saturn is a sun. It's the black sun. Saturn is the ruler of the ears, earrings, Lord of the Rings, earrings, Lord of the Rings. Okay, the god of law, the king of the longest cycle around the sun. In court, they use Latin language, the language of Saturn. We live in an age of Saturn or Chronos, which means time. Exactly, because we like mentally and spiritually, we don't have the concept that time is endless. Like we're not. That's why we get anxiety. That's why we get stressed, because we're not realizing that we never die and time is endless. Okay. We live in the age of Saturn, which means time. Because we live in the age of time. Time eats of its children, like Kronos in Greek mythology ate his children. And I guess I just broke that down, because I'm saying stress and health factors and all of this is because of time, and because of like we feel like anxiety is because like it's just like this. Anxiety means that like a lot of people get anxious and stuff like that because they're too far in the future. A lot of people get depressed because they're too far in the past. So depression comes from being too far in the past, and anxiety comes from being too far in the future. What you want to focus on is that balance of being here and now in the moment. So like if you're not focused on being here and now in the moment, 9 times out of 10, if you live like that and you keep living like that, guess what? Jobs and different things in our lifestyle, it creates health issues. See, our ancestors, like, let me tell you, my grandmother, when she was coming up, they didn't live like we live. That's why she's 83 years old. That's why she's still here. Whereas their children, a lot of them in their 50s and 60s, they're dying off younger, because now like back, especially like I can remember when I was younger, like the weekends, everything was closed. Nobody worked on the weekends. Nobody worked on the weekends. Everybody was off on the holidays and different things like that. So things were different. We had family reunions. It was different back then. Okay, compared to now, where people work on the holidays, stuff is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. 7 days a week. We're in a rush. You have to. You're in a rush to get to a job, get from a job. You got to be here. If you 15 minutes late, you're late. Or if you're 5 minutes late, you're late. You're gonna get a point or something like that. They have us in a rush. They're doing this to us. They're killing us. Okay, they're killing us. So that's what that means. That's what that is. It's like Saturn and Chronos is eating us, this system, this matrix that we're living in is killing us. It's killing us because we do not have the concept of endless time. We're stressed, anxiety causing problems to our organs and our body, because as above, so below. Saturn does to the sun what the moon does to the earth. The moon orbits the earth in 29.5 days, and Saturn orbits the sun in 29.5 years. The moon pulls the earth, and Saturn pulls the sun. Yeah, okay. The moon pulls the earth. Okay, the moon pulls the earth, and Saturn pulls the sun. Gotcha. Okay. That is why Saturn and the sun are twin brothers. Saturn and the sun are twin brothers. Polarity. Okay, the year actually starts. Okay. Woo, we got a long way to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a part two. I'm going to do a part two to this because it's a lot more to go. And I'm trying to read through it, but I don't want to miss any important facts. And I don't want to, I just don't want to take up a whole lot of y'all time. So, I'm going to do a part two. I'm going to end right here, and I'm going to do a part two. Give y'all a chance to absorb what I've talked about already. Because I think we're on page 4 of this article. And if y'all have any questions, make sure y'all leave them in the comment section. You can leave them in the comment section as well. Like if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. But I'm now about to read the chat, see what y'all saying up in here. Some of us are aging backwards. Yeah, some of us are aging backwards. They are speeding up our death. Exactly. Yeah, focus on the present. Yeah. Kim Ariki in the house, in the building. Right. They just they hid it and coded the truth. Exactly, TC. Yeah, Gen X, like 50. Nah, Gen X is a little bit younger than Well, Gen X is gonna be bad. Yeah, I think like the boomers. The boomers are the ones that's dying. I mean, the boomers are the ones that's after, my grandma and them, and they're the ones that's, dying at 50. My generation, we're probably gonna not live as long as them. But see, I try to take care of my health, and I try to, be on a spiritual level. But for those that are not, are probably gonna die a lot earlier. And then just look at when you get to Generation X, and then when you get to the millennials. The millennials are they dying now, popping pills. They're dying now. You know what I'm saying? They're dying now because like that's a lot. They got a lot going on. Let me just put it that way. They got a lot going on, and we don't realize these things, and that's how they're controlling us. That's how they've been controlling us, and we're basic, and that's how they're killing us. And we want to blame it on this and blame it on that, but we're just not looking at how, as above, so below, how we're connected to everything, and we're not looking at how they disconnected us from nature. Like we're not looking at all the chemicals instead of natural organic food that we use. Like we got to go back to the basics. We got to go back to nature. We got to go back to the natural. That the nature, the natural, that's God. That's where we need to be. And ain't no Jesus coming back. I mean, people should know that. If that was the case, Jesus would have came back for Trayvon Martin. Jesus would have came back for a lot of things, but ain't no Jesus coming back. In fact, Jesus never left, because Jesus is the Son of Man. That's the Son that you see when you wake up in the morning. Oh, Gen X, 1965 to 1985. Yeah, you're right. The boomers, right? Gen X. I didn't realize that. I thought of them as the boomers. Okay, yeah. So my chat is pretty much up to speed. Are there any other questions or anything that anybody would like to say or know before we play this little music and get out? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna title this one part 1, and I'm also do a part 2 because it's long and I don't want to give too much information. Plus, I want to get a chance to like absorb what we've done today to myself, so that like I'll be able to come with a different spin, or I'll see where like I might be able to come with a different spin. But I hope that everybody understands and gathered, what I was saying. The Bible is astrology. The Bible is astrophysics. The Bible is astrogenetics. The Bible is all of the sacred sciences. All of the sacred sciences. The Bible is not to be taken literally at all. Now, I'm sorry, much respect to Larry Reid, much and no respect, no pun intended. No, I don't want to offend you, but I have to tell the truth. I have to tell the truth. The other day on Larry Reid, this is a response to the Larry Reid show. All right. Now, this guy was saying, so this should not, he was basically saying that his name was Shalama. Wait a minute, what was his name? His name meant star. Shemaiah. It was an L. It was Shemaiah L or something. So he was one of the Christian was Moorish brother, Muslim brother. All right, and then there was another guy. It's in my title, but whatever rate, he was still trying to keep people indoctrinated because he wanted to say that this is not how we should get daily guidance or this is not how we should live. He was, like basic because he didn't want to lose that money. He didn't want to lose that money. Okay, so he didn't want to lose. So he was basically saying, but no, like it is. Because if all your body parts are associated as above, so below to, the planets, and if you have a direct relationship, a direct connection to the sun, the moon, the stars, and the planet, then that is what you need to go to for your life, and not man. Because man only is in the same boat or the same situation as you. You want to go as above. You want to get it from the source. Like they say, what's your references? What's your source? You want to get it from the source. All right. So, I just wanted to pretty much say that. But shout out to LarryReidLive, no pun intended. Shout out to the brothers that presented. I'm glad that it was presented because, a lot of not religious, Christian. Because the Muslims and the Moors, they know that, their doctrines and stuff is, astrology, astronomy, and science. But the Christians, they seem to feel taboo and like it's the acts of the devil and, it's witchcraft and you should stay away from it. It's a lot of things told to them. But, the truth be, it's just life and it's a part of our existence. It is us. So we got to wake up. We got to stop believing what we've been told. We got to get outside the matrix. I know, I'm tired of being a slave. And everybody else should too. If y'all not, if you don't no longer want to be a slave, then you're going to do what best serves you and let go of what doesn't. And I'm just going to put it that way. And that's the all truth for the matter. If you no longer want to be controlled, if you no longer want to continue to lose loved ones, if you no longer want to see all the things that has been going on, continue on in this great awakening period of the Aquarius, the great divine feminine energy, then you're going to do what best serves you and let go of what doesn't. Before you can love anybody else, you must first love yourself. It all starts with self. So you can't love your children. You can't love your family unless you first love yourself. Because ego and love are just like the sun and Saturn. Ego and love is just like the sun and Saturn. And we can't live endlessly off ego. We'll have shorter life cycles. I put it that way. We'll have multiple life cycles, but we'll have shorter life cycles. So we won't have long life cycles, with ego, but we'll have long life cycles with love. And until the next time, peace, love, and hair grease, peace, love, and light, to the red, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, and the purple power, and the black power. And until next time, love. And here we go. We're going to play our music and we're going to get out. And I'm going to do a part 2, family. If y'all have any questions, make sure y'all leave it in the comment section. If you want to cuss me out, make sure you leave it in the comment section. Whatever, leave it in the comment section. So I'm out, family. Here we go.
o chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o chão, desci, vou até o chão, desci, vou até o chão, eu desci, vou até o chão, até o chão, até o chão. Eu desci.